Hi, I am Kedger on two wheels, and isn't today just a lovely day? No, here's the real topic. The topic is the upgrades I've made on this one. I've made this video in Portuguese before, but a subscriber from Poland, I think, asked me to do it in English because he and a few people there are interested in it. So here's what I did to this bike. The bike for itself is a cheap, non-performing, because the idea is not performance. It is to be pretty, so it's a cheap and pretty bike. But it has some definite issues. As I said on the review, issue number one is the tires, which are horrible, the mirrors, which don't work, and a few odds and ends. So here's the upgrades I did. Oh, the front lamp is a joke. So here are the upgrades so far on Candy. Candy has new mirrors, as you can see, and these actually work as intended. Oh, I forgot to do a very important thing with my jacket. And these mirrors actually work. These are the mirrors from a Yamaha VMAX. They're not actually Yamaha mirrors, they're off-brand knockoffs, which I bought from Yamaha, which they use. They have them on stock whenever someone crashes a VMAX, and these mirrors actually are on quite a few other machines, but they have them on stock because people, when they crash and they break a mirror, and the VMAX mirrors are like 50 bucks each, most people say, don't you have some cheaper ones? So they have these in stock to tell them, okay, we do have cheaper ones, they're not Yamahas, but well, they're the same, not quite the same. And yeah, these are VMAX styled mirrors, copies. Chrome is not as good as the VMAX, they're beginning to rust already, so I'll have to clean them up. But they work wonderfully well. I can see everything, as opposed to before when I couldn't see anything. They're adjustable, etc. And I really like the look of them. They look stock on this bike. They align perfectly with the end of the handlebar. I can see backwards just fine. The chrome goes really well with the rest of the bike. Just some little chrome details. It's even got some tiny black thingies. There's only one adaptation. The VMAX tread, which goes in here, is a 10mm one. This bike has an 8mm hole. I don't know the inches on this, sorry. So this one is smaller. So what they did there was just on MJ Pivot, they just switched the bolts and then screwed the mirrors on. 50 bucks for two mirrors, and my rear visibility problems are all solved. Wonderful. That's upgrade number one. Upgrade number two, and this was a lot more expensive, was the tires. That's why I'm riding in the rain, because any keeway superlight rider knows you do not take these bikes out into the rain ever. If it's as much as just moist, the bike stays home. But on these tires, no siree. These Metzeler Lasertech are absolutely wonderful in the rain. They grip awesomely, they feel awesome. They're much better in all respects, especially in the rain. But it feels like a new bike, because the old tires, they had a very flat profile, meaning they were squarish like a car. Okay, that's done. They were like so, like a car, a bit square. And so they were very stable, and they are very stable when the bike's going straight. When you lean it over, they still work, but then at a certain point you start to feel, at least I started to feel uneasy. Something was wrong, and that's the grip going away, because I was on the edge of the tire. So they don't have much grip. Okay, they're cheap, so they do not have that much grip even in the dry, but they work. On these, since this is a normal profile tire, like rounds, like so, the bike now turns like a normal bike. It leans really easily, and then it stays leaned really stably, because it's a low compact machine, so the center of gravity is really low, so it's really stable, and then suddenly the bike is completely different. It rides magnificently well. It's a great upgrade to do. It costs around 200 euros, but it's damn well worth it. The bike just turns into such a nice handling machine overnight. Well, over tires. Let's put it at that. There's a few issues. Namely, this is a tube type rim with tube type tires. And the Metzeler Laser Tech are tubeless tires. And you cannot put a tubeless tire on this rim because there's no room for the valve. So you're going to have to use the tube from the old tires or get a new tube and put these Metzelers with a tube in them. I asked the tire guy, he said there's no issue. He didn't like it. He had some choice curse words about the rims and the whole Chinese built thing. Because he really disliked the concept of having to pick up some awesome good tires and put a tube in it. But he says, okay, there's no issue with handling, there's no issue with grip. The only issue that any puncture, no matter how small, and you're stranded there, right there. So there's that. Other than that, upgrades, tires and mirrors, and I've got some panniers, some side cases, leather ones, which I got from Lois.de, and the supports for them. And I made a couple of holes on the exhaust to make it sound slightly louder. Not much, but slightly better. Sounds much lovelier. And yeah, that's basically it. I'll have to eventually change the front light, but this is not a bike that's going to be ridden at night, so there's not much of an issue there. I've ridden this at night. I took it to work when Lotsatki had a tire puncture. So I took this one to work, and at night when I was returning, it was just absolutely horrible. I couldn't see anything. When you're alone in the road, it's okay. Your eyes adjust and it's adequate. But in traffic, in rain, with weather like this, horrible. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't even see if my light was on or off. It's that ridiculous. It's really weak. So yeah, I'll have to put on some normal halogen bulb up front or a HID kit. The guy from the shop says that it can take an HID kit with no issues. I don't know. I'll see. I'll have to figure something out. Other than that, an occasional screw loose. Oh, I forgot to mention that it's gone to the 1,000 kilometer tune-up, oil change, revision, whatever. And now it's a new bike. The gears are no longer as clunky. Neutral comes in much easier. It responds much nicer. Has a higher top speed now. It's like a different engine after that oil change. It's fantastic. Not quite as fantastic is that I am returning. Whoa, that's a lot of water. Not quite as fantastic is that I am returning there because it's leaking fuel from the underside of the fuel tank. That's annoying. Yeah, that's annoying. So I'm going back there to tighten that up. Must have gotten loose with all the vibrations and stuff. Let's go and fix that. The battery support also cracked. That was fixed under warranty, obviously, like this will be. Battery support was cracked. That's fixed. I lost the screw for the indicators. That's fixed. The indicators were all a bit wonky. Every single one of them was pointing in a different direction. That's fixed, even though it's a very tiny thing, but it annoyed me to no end. And yeah, that's it. You'll get to see the good and the bike of a Chinese motorcycle. Cheap and cheerful this thing is. And with that comes the tiny little nagging problems. Oh, and I will have to rebathe her in WD-40 to prevent rust, because she's getting a lot of water on her. Well, that's just about it. Oh, now let me show you. Oh, look, it's a bend. Let's see if I don't crash here. Oh, by the way, I'm not actually doing this too fast because I know this turn, and this turn is very, very skiddy. Trucks come through here, and so they dump oil everywhere. So I'm taking it really easy, but look, if these were the stock tires, this would have been horrible. And I actually skidded a bit there, I felt it. because the ground suddenly went off camber, really off camber. But I've skidded on this one before. I was accelerating out of a roundabout, which is very polished asphalt, very dirty asphalt, and I was exiting the roundabout and rolling on throttle to exit quickly. I had a car on my right side, so I wanted to get my elbows out and say, I'm exiting, okay? And when I accelerated, suddenly the engine went zzz, but the bike wasn't going anywhere, so the rear tire was spinning up with the bike leaned over, and nothing happened. I just kept on going. Cool as a cucumber. No issues. Of course, it wasn't much of a spin up. It's not like the 600. It was like just I was over rotating the tire, so I still had some grip left, and yet nothing. I only noticed that I was spinning up because suddenly the rear started to get gradually lighter and started to gradually want to step out, and so I unrolled throttle. It recovered, and off I went. So yeah, that's another good thing about these tires. They are gradual. It's not like grip, 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 whoa, no grip. No, it's like grip, 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 less grip, skidding, skidding, fall. Seriously, I do love these tires, and I heartily recommend them. Expensive, but good, real good. Now that's really it. Cager out. So, final verdict is warranty on the new tank and a fuel level buoy. Don't know how you call it, but that's how I chose to call it, so that's its name henceforth. So what happened is the buoy for fuel level has a little plate at the bottom of the tank that has an O-ring, and that plate's not straight, it's slightly bent, so something worked wrong there on manufacturing, and that's what was leaking fuel, and that's what they're going to ask for warranty. Tank and that, because now it's fixed-ish. They kind of worked it out so that it would actually this is a really bad spot. They kind of jury-rigged it, tightened the screws a bit, moved the O-ring around, making sure it was sealed. It seems not to be leaking now, but it's not correct, so this is just a jury rig, and when the tank comes, we'll get a replacement. It was cool watching the bike all disassemble though. It's a little yellow plaque here that you can't really see unless you disassemble some things, which I am not going to do. So yeah, it happens. Chinese bikes, they have their issues, but the whole question is, how well is the warranty service? And so far, it's very nice. No, not much of an issue. Oh, the guy also tells me this is not a usual thing to happen. It's just my luck of the draw. It happens. Would it happen with a Japanese bike? Probably not. It could happen, but it's much less likely to happen. So yeah, that's it. Candy's sick, but she's all right now. For now, catch her out.